G'day. You're watching The Reader at Down Under Tarot, coming to you from the wide brown land. And today I have a Zoom reading with Mary. How are you doing today, Mary?
Doing great, thank you.
Where are you calling in from?
Brooklyn, New York, United States.
That sounds great. I'm in Australia, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to read for most things, but usually they have a focus on giving querents a new perspective on their situation and the things they might consider moving forwards. But if you want to know what your crush thinks about you, or whether your ex will return and apologise for all the mean things he said, I'll read for that too. Now, Mary, what were you interested in talking about today?
I am interested in talking about my career, and more specifically, I find myself stuck in one place and what needs to be done for me to move out of that place that I actively dislike.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of an industry are you in?
I work in IT. I'm a product manager.
Yep.
And I work for a software company.
Okay.
So sounds great, and I love what I do, but I just don't love what I am.
Okay.
And started working about a year ago. Knew right off the get-go that that wasn't a good place for me for various reasons. But most importantly, for me, it's critical to connect with my coworkers on a human level as well. And I did not find that level of connection in my workplace. And so I was sort of pulling through, hoping that something better will come along. Again, it's a great company, great place, just not a good match with my personality. But weirdly enough, I can't seem to get out. I can't seem to find anything different. And what's even more bizarre is that I do a little bit of tarot reading for myself, not for other people. But when I pull cards for myself, they keep telling me that this is the right place for me to be, the perfect place for me to be in the moment. So my approach to life is just try to figure out a lesson that needs to be learned. And I cannot figure out what lesson I need to learn here before the universe will allow me to find a better place that's going to make me happy career-wise.
Okay. Right. Well, so what kind of questions do you want to put to the cards today?
Well, that would be the first question. What am I doing? What am I not learning? What am I not noticing? What should I do? What kind of lesson should I learn at my current job in order to be able to move on from it?
Okay, great. We can certainly have a look at that. Okay. Now, because we live in a very litigious world, I need to give the hashtag standard disclaimer. Viewers, while I do believe the tarot can reveal insights into what may come to pass and give us new perspectives on our situation, fortune telling is actually illegal in many parts of the world. In truth, I'm just a middle-aged bloke at an undisclosed location in the opal-hearted country, telling stories based on the things I see in the illustrations on 78 small pieces of cardboard. If Mary or the rest of you conclude that I'm a dead set legend, that everything I said is 100% fair dinkum, and that you will absolutely do what I say the cards suggest without exercising your own judgment, well, that's on you. Today, I'll be using my Roses and Lilies reproduction deck by Conrad Stein that I got from makeplayingcards.com. There's a link in the description. I'll be using them in a 3 to 5 card narrative spread where I look to see if the images tell a story with regard to Mary's situation and what she'd like to find out about. I'll add clarifying cards to each of these as required. Okay, so here's the cards. I'll shuffle them on camera so you can be sure that I'm doing a genuine reading and haven't pre-selected any cards. Let's see what Mary is missing and what will enable her to move on. I don't normally use jumpers. I usually just take them off the top of the deck. Okay, so what have we got? We've got 6 of Swords. We've got Knight of Wands. We've got a Page of Pentacles. I'll do one more. We've got the 10 of Pentacles as well. Okay, so looking at these cards here, I get the impression that it's definitely time to move on. This is a card of journeying from troubled waters over to calm waters. So it's time to move on there. Now, there are two situations in the boat. We've got somebody who's moving the boat along, and we've got some passengers there. I think when you consider all the other cards at the moment, you're in the passenger seat and you're waiting for something or someone to put you in that boat or invite you into that boat and ferry you across to the other side of the lake, or in your case, the employment journey, to move you on in your employment journey. The Knight of Wands says that thing that you're missing is that you need to pick up that wand and you need to gallop off into the horizon. These cards seem to be saying, if you wait for the universe to give you a sign that it's time to move on, you're missing the points in that you're in charge of your career, and so it's time to move on. When you do move on, it's important to be in a position where you're going to appreciate the situation that you will find yourself in. So this might mean that you need to this first card here might mean that you need to consider something slightly different. So what you're doing at the moment, and whatever it is, study it carefully, just as this person here is looking intently at his coin, because that's what you'll need to do to succeed. And if you do all that, you'll find yourself in a very prosperous space. So I guess the overall message of the card in relation to your question is, you need to move on. You need to be very assertive in that process and not wait for something to happen. Look for something that might be a bit different, study it carefully, and then you'll end up with a great deal of success. Do any of those cards need clarifying, do you think?
I think the Knight of Wands does, because I cannot say that I'm just passively sitting around waiting for something to help me. I'm actively looking into other opportunities.
Okay.
So it's a little bit unclear to me.
Yeah.
What else should I do?
Sure. In relation to your question, I thought you mentioned that you thought that there was something that you needed to understand before another situation would come along. I think the thing that you need to understand is to get on your horse and go. But so I'll draw some clarifying cards there to see what else that card might relate to. Seven of Swords. So in the context of this reading, I think the Seven of Swords here relates to, you may be feeling a little bit guilty about possibly moving on. And you may be feeling that if you do move on, you'll be taking something valuable away from the company, even though you don't like it there. And that may be something that's holding you back. So it might be that you feel that you owe something more to the company, feel like it would necessarily be fair for you to go. Does that resonate at all?
I would say that it resonated a few months ago, but probably not as much anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm just so driven to, I'm so unhappy that guilt wouldn't stop me anymore, I guess.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Well, if you put the guilt behind you, what else do you need to see? Two of Cups. Now, this is a card that I often relate to new and burgeoning relationships. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, but it can also mean a new relationship with a particular situation. So I guess this is a case of putting the guilt behind you, which you've done. That is great. Still getting on the horse from the previous card, and keying into what it is that you're passionate about. So if you said that you're working in IT for a software company, if you feel that there's a different facet of software development that's, better suits where you really want to be, then that is the thing that you need to try to form a relationship with. You need to get fully on board with that. You need to embody it, and then you'll have the capacity, I think, to move.
Yeah, and looking at the Page of Pentacles, I'm thinking that maybe I should put myself in a position of probably a learner again, because I'm just used to thinking of myself as a seasoned professional, and maybe I should just really reassess my attitude towards what I do, and truly look into something else, not necessarily a different industry, just something else within the scope of my profession.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the IT field, but I imagine it's somewhat diverse in the sorts of projects that you could be working on and the different applications that the IT may have. Yeah, and as this is a young person, it may involve maybe taking a slight step backwards in terms of seniority and maybe even income, if that's something that you can afford. So that's something to bear in mind. And also the wealth that comes at the end of this spread is not just about material wealth. Now, there's a figure in the front here who's, progressed in his life, and he's looking out around him and at these two people, one of which may be his children. He's got his dogs there looking at him. So it may be a case of the wealth will not just be material, but also emotional, and give you a sense of accomplishment and achievement at the end there.
This just gave me a really good clue. Again, looking at the Page of Pentacles and what you said about it, I should be willing to trade off, right? Like, I'm happy with my salary, but I should be willing to maybe consider something with a lower salary. However, something that would make me happier.
Yeah.
A job that would make me happier. So that's a good way to look at it, because I have been not very willing to compromise when it comes to the money, but maybe that's something I should do.
It seems to me that that's what the cards might be suggesting. I can imagine a lot of companies would be very happy to have a slightly senior position, a slightly more experienced person applying for a slightly lower role, because it's their passion and that's what they really want to do. So that's certainly something you consider there.
Oh, this is actually very, very helpful. Thank you.
No problems at all. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Can we ask cards one more question?
Sure. You want
the same
a new spread or more clarifying cards?
Probably more clarifying cards on the spread.
Okay.
I'm
so
just
which card do you think needs clarification?
Well, maybe it's a new spread. Well, my question is, I'm just very curious as to what exactly has been keeping me here for such a long time. Like, again, I guess it boils down to, what has this job taught me? Why is it so important in my life that I had to be stuck here for such a long time, even though I really intensely don't like it?
Well, I think the Seven of Swords suggested that you might have felt a little bit beholden to the company, but I can certainly see if there's anything else there.
I really felt that I didn't like it from probably day one. So at that point, there was definitely no guilt. So
radio. Okay. Well, let's see what else the cards might have to say. Ace of Wands. Was this sort of like a new chapter in your career when you started with this company?
Probably, you could say that, yes.
Yeah, well, that might sort of be another insight into your feelings with regard to where you're working. Yes, you might have felt a little bit uncomfortable, but I think this Ace of Wands here is often about grasping an opportunity and using the energy that comes with the wand suit to get moving at the start of something. So it could be that you were suppressing valid feelings about where you were working in an effort just to get the job done and to you know, to move ahead in the situation.
That is exactly what it felt like. Thank you so much. It felt like I felt like it was just silly of me not to grasp onto this opportunity, because it seemed like a great opportunity despite all of the emotions, negative emotions that it was giving me. So I was really holding on to that. That is exactly right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So it might be time to let those emotions out. And, you know, because this is a card of emotions, and find, you know, as I said before, identifying what it is you love and treating that part of yourself as well, you know, let it displace the energy part for a little while at least.
No, makes complete sense. Thank you.
No problems. So, Maria, I take it that the reading went pretty well for you, and that it's given you some things to think about and a reason to move forward. Would you say that?
Absolutely. It actually genuinely offered me a new perspective. And just on one hand, it's very obvious, but it's something that I've been stuck in my situation for such a long time that I wasn't able to look at it from a fresh angle. And it absolutely gave me that.
Well, that's
Very
great.
happy.
Excellent. I'm glad I could help. So viewers, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll honor me with a subscription and tell me how wonderful I am in the comments below. If you'd like a reading yourself, either privately or for posting here, please contact me at downundertarot@gmail.com to discuss the terms and conditions. I've been the reader at Down Under Tarot, now signing off from the land of rugged mountain ranges of droughts and flooding rain. Copulata.